My name's Jamila Walker and I am a visual artist, and this workshop is for Meadow Arts, and you can find out more about their projects and join their mailing list if you go on their website, which is www.meadowarts.org. They're also on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. So this project is called In Ruins, and this workshop is inspired by the exhibition that Meadow Arts put on. It was a group exhibition, and one of the artists was called Alex Hartley, and his work is a lot of sculptures within nature, and these pieces, they often evolve as nature takes over it, as they get weathered. So this piece of work that he did for Meadow Arts, that was housed at Whitley Court in the West Midlands, which is an English heritage property, featured this piece here, and that's just a close-up of it. And there's some people looking at it in situ in this amazing site in the West Midlands. Okay, and oh, got cold. And here is another one that you can see a little bit more of it. So you can see that it's sort of propped up, and it's using lots of building materials that are a little bit old, and as it sits there and goes through various weather conditions and seasons, it'll change and it'll evolve. So learning about Alex's work through Meadow Arts, I decided my workshop should use some of the themes from his work. So the battle, the marriage between man-made constructions and nature is something that I can definitely relate to, because I have a lot of houseplants, but they don't often stay here very long because they sometimes die. Not on purpose, but I sometimes kill them with my love, or I don't want to put them, I give them too much water, or I put them in a location. That's my alarm. Let's ignore that. Let's turn that off because we don't want that bothering us again. Okay. So yes, what as I was saying was the plants that come in my home, they probably want to be in different locations, but I have ideas about what I want the house to look like. So sometimes they don't like where they are. Sometimes I don't know really what I'm doing with them. Sometimes I repot them and damage some of their roots. However, what I'm saying is I bring natural items into my home and expect them to conform, to bend to my will, and they don't always survive that. So what I've decided to do with this workshop is create plants that are completely self-determined, that are completely designed by me, using recycled materials. We're using themes of man-made constructions, and they can never die. And they'll look exactly the way you want, and you can put them in any location you want and they won't suffer. So, some of the main themes of Alex's work that we're going to address and bring into our pieces are his relationship between buildings, structures and nature, and about how no matter how hard we try, that nature will take over, nature will weather buildings, brickwork will start looking old, moss will grow up a damp building, and some plants are very resilient, they can grow in various directions. And it's all about, we will try and preserve things. We make something and we want it to stay the way we intended to, first of all. And however, maybe within Alex's work, it makes you think, well, should we just enjoy the evolution? Should we just enjoy the journey of that work? So I thought, first of all, which is going to be quite weird because this is a video, so you're not really joining in with me, but I'm going to, oh, I was looking for paper behind me. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to, this is why I need my phone. I knew why I needed my phone. We're going to do 1 minute 3 times for our warm-up exercise, because I think it's important to get a little bit warmed up, to do something before you do something creative, because sometimes you can get a bit in your head and be a bit like, oh, is this a waste of materials, is this a waste of time, but the process of this is just as important as the outcome. So we're going to just have a warm-up to get us going. Okay, so I've got my stopwatch. I love a stopwatch. Okay, so for the first minute, we're no conferring. If you're working with other people, don't let them see what you're up to. We're going to draw as many building materials that you can think of that human beings use to build all different types of buildings, houses, schools, churches, dens, anything you like. Okay, so 1 minute, 60 seconds. Let's go. No peeking, don't look at mine. No peeking. I did my arrow upside down. 12 seconds left. There must be. I'm sure I can think of another one. 5 seconds. And oh, stop. Went over 2 seconds then. Okay, so I've got I've got brick, wood, a cave, paper, like a traditional Japanese house might have those screen doors with the paper, stone as well. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to do 2 more. And I want you to draw as many plants that you can think of. So these plants could be in your home, they could be ones you've seen in garden centres, they could be ones you've seen abroad, they could be ones you've seen in forests and parks, any type of plants, trees, flowers. Let your imagination run wild. Okay, 1 minute. I was going to say 3 minutes, 1 minute. Go. Look. Mine's gone blank. 22 seconds gone. Oh, 20 seconds to go. Oh. I really can't think of one. Oh, there we go. And stop. I found that unbelievably stressful. I'm not sure why. Okay, I've got strawberry. It's not great drawings. Conifer, grass, sunflower. This is a spider plant, and moss. Okay, now we're feeling pretty warmed up, I think. But I think just to keep us on the safe side, we're going to do 1 more, and this is probably the most challenging. Maybe not for you, but for me. Okay, so 1 minute to draw as many patterns, constructions that you see in nature. So my first hint to you could be a beehive and all those different shaped hexagons that sort of fit together so that where they store the honey. Okay, so I did this. Yeah, I can think of some. I've got some. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm hiding mine because I really don't want you to see it. That is not a hexagon. These are very conceptual drawings. 20 seconds to go. I can't think of any more.
Bird's nest.
I did that one.
No. Snail shell.
Oh yeah. Stop talking through my video, please do it. My husband Stuart's doing the filming, and that was who you heard talking in the background. I don't think you're supposed to talk over the talent. Oh, I went over 14 seconds. Okay, these were all my idea. We've got a snail shell, a dam, like what beavers make on the rivers. This is a bird's nest, so weaving of wood, and the hexagons from my beehive. Now let's move on from those now, and we're going to actually start making some of our very own unkillable construction themed Alex Hartley plants. So I think we'll start off with this one here. So what I've done, because I really want to bring the elements of, let's move this iPad out of the way. I really want to bring the elements of buildings and structures, so like you can build things out of concrete, brick, all the things we discussed earlier. So I've looked through this magazine. This is a digital photography magazine that somebody kindly gave me, and I've never read, but I've looked at the pictures. And I've selected images of buildings, and this is what I'm going to use to make my leaves. So, so this is lots of buildings. This is a cityscape at night, which I think is pretty cool, and there's lots of lens flare at the front. So I think there's lots of really interesting, nice colours in that. So what I'm going to do, I've got a few images of this city. Yeah, so I've got 3 images of these cities. So what I'm going to do is layer them all on top of each other and cut out different long leaf shapes. So I'm laying them on top of each other so that I get multiple leaves of the same shape, as if by magic. So I'm freehanding it because I am a daredevil. However, you may want to draw it first. Okay. So those are my long leaves, and I want them all to be quite uneven and organic looking and not too perfect. So because like look at this plant here, they're all different shapes because they've all grown at different times. This is a very new leaf on my geranium. I know plant names. This is very soft, whereas this plant, don't know what it's called, but it's a lot smooth. So use whatever materials that you've got around the house. And because plants come in lots of different shapes and forms, so you could even invent your own plant name and give it a new name, maybe, and give it an alternative Latin name, like horticultural gardening folk often do. So I've got quite a few there now, and I'm going to make some smaller ones to represent the smaller leaves, the new leaves. Okay, so use what magazines, newspapers that you've got lying around, any old bits of paper that you might have drawn on. But I really wanted to keep my building themes. I wanted to make my buildings out of my leaves out of buildings, sort of, and vice versa. So then, now I need a piece of card. So with a little bit of give in it so it can bend, because we're going to take it from one corner to the other in a spiral. Ooh, what you should do first. The key to sellotape that I'm going to use now is finding the end. Oh, finding the end. I've got it. Get a little bit of sellotape off first. Your sellotape might not have a lot of black pink printing ink on it, but I think it'll still work fine. Okay, so I'm going to cut off 2 pieces of tape and stick it to my table in preparation for this next bit. Preparation is the key to most things, not everything though. Okay, scissor safety. Okay, so we're going to go from this corner to that corner, and we're going to just very tightly roll it up. Okay. Okay, so now you can see you've got different little sort of gaps down there which are going to be very useful to us at a later date. So we're going to tape this together so it doesn't come apart. I'm going to tape it at the top, tape it at the bottom here, and then this is going to live in this old plant pot here. I think, yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm quite happy with that. So we'll put that aside for a minute, and you can either use loads of tissue paper to sort of make your stem stand in there. You could use some Play-Doh, poke it in there if you don't want to use the Play-Doh again because it will dry out, or you could even use blue tack or white tack, whatever you like. However, I'm going to create a card base. So I'm going to use some old packaging from a recent purchase. Very big enough. Yeah. And then I'm going to draw around the circumference of the top of the plant pot. Like that. And then I'm going to cut that out. Got to put the lids back on your pens, people, otherwise they dry out. And it stresses a lot of people out. Not me though, because I'm very easygoing. It stresses me out. Okay, so you cut that out as neat as you possibly can. If you need any extra help from a grown-up, don't be afraid to ask. We all need help at some point. Okay. I'm gonna put it on the floor. Okay. Now that is going to be a little bit too big because you may notice that there's a slight angle there, so it's narrower there. So what we're going to do is very, 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 very carefully, we're going to shave off maybe 2 millimeters around the circumference. You don't have to be super neat with this, because you can colour this in or cover it up with tissue paper. It's up to you. So that just about fits in there now. So I'm quite pleased with that. Now I need to make get it out. I need to make a hole in it. So roughly, gently fold the middle and then cut a small triangle out in the middle there, which makes a slight diamond shape, and then this should be able to fit quite snugly in there like that. And now this is your opportunity to decorate the soil if you want to. You can decorate the outside of the plant pot like I've done on this one. I use lots of glass buildings from I think it's from the same magazine, the digital photography one, and I cut them out to represent bricks. So you can design all the outside, put some stickers on it, however you feel. So I've got all these leaf shapes here, and these are the previous ones that I cut out of the same magazine, some architectural photographs. And then with these little gaps down here, you can wedge your leaves in there and build it up slowly. Now, I would probably put the smaller ones at the top and the larger ones towards the bottom, just to sort of create a slightly organic shape. So you just keep going and going and going until you've filled it up and you're completely happy. So to do the same, to make our cactus, we're going to use some card again, and this time we're going to cut out various sort of tongue shapes, like human tongue shapes. And again, you can draw it if you want to, or you can just cut it out freehand. Live life on the edge. That's what I do. I'm not going to use this one because it's big. I'll use this one. just going to cut it a little bit smaller so it's a bit easier to work with initially. I didn't like the other one because it had stickers on the other piece of cardboard. I don't necessarily want extra textures in there. Okay. I have seen houses made of cardboard as well, so people can definitely build with that. Oh, and I'm going to draw it freehand. I'm going to draw it with a pencil, sorry. So we're going for those kind of shapes. And then you're going to make slightly smaller one and an even smaller one. And you can keep going, but 3 is probably the minimum, just to give it a more realistic balance, because I'm making my cactus now. And cactuses also flower as well, so if you wanted to, you could create some flowers using paper or old magazines or newspapers. Let your imagination run wild. Okay. So far the materials that we've used are sellotape, a pen, a pencil, some scissors. I haven't used the glue yet, might need it later, but you might need it. I have got a hole punch if you want to add some extra texture and detail, that might be quite nice. Some stickers, you don't necessarily need those. I've also got these little extra embellishments, little stickers, some little googly eyes if you want to make your work particularly macabre. I've got some tiny pom-poms. You don't necessarily need them. Old brochures, magazines, and some card. Okay, so that's what we've used so far. So then, to attach these 3 together, make a small slit anywhere you like, so where you're going to join the other one, and a slit in the one you want to join them together. Okay, there you go. Okay, this has got a sticker on it, which I don't necessarily want. Will it come off? Might be something I should have done in my own time. Okay. So we're going to slot those 2 together. So it's already looking organic, and it's got shadows now, and it's already looking a bit more 3D. So I want to add this small piece to the large one or the little one? The little one, I think. So they're quite knobbly and not very uniform looking, real cactuses. So feel free to have things going off at an angle and things like that. Okay, so this cactus is going to live, cacti is going to live in this pot here. So we're going to do exactly the same thing to create a base. Yeah, so that's about big enough. So I'm going to draw around the top of the plant pot. This one is from some basil that I bought from the supermarket, so you don't need to buy any new plant pots. You probably have some knocking about in your garden if you're lucky enough to have an outdoor space, or somebody will be giving some away on Freegal. So, or you could use an old cup. We've got an old plastic cup or something, but you know, definitely aim to recycle. So again, that's a little bit too big. So we're just going to cut off around the whole edge of it, maybe 2-3 millimeters at the most. Okay, take that out and see if that fits. Not quite, so I'm just going to cut off a little bit more. There we go. Oh, not quite. A little bit more. There we go. That fits in there fairly flush. So you might have an idea of what you want to do initially, but then as you're making, you might it might change a little. So need a cut that's about as long as that. So I'm just going to do a very rough marking to show where I'm going to make a slit in this, so this can hopefully fit in there. So I'm going to fold it gently, not too firm, over the top, and then if you need a grown-up to help you, feel free to ask. And then this should fit in here. Excellent. Yes, and then it can fit in here. Okay. And then when you're happy with that, I'm not quite happy with that. There you go. And you could decorate it. I'm going to add some stickers to mine. But you never have to water this plant. You never have to ask anybody to come over when you're on holiday. I think to look after them. You don't have to worry about knocking them over and getting soil all over the carpet. So hopefully you'll have fun making your own plant, and if you do, please take a picture of it and send it to Meadow Arts so we can have a nosy at what you've been up to. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had a really nice time. Bye bye.